All right, Pot of Gold, welcome back. A joyous occasion, episode 400, the biggest episode in Pot of Gold history today. Grant has been itching to get this one in. We're going to do the LSU baseball season preview. So, really excited to get to that. If anyone's been listening to the pod over the years, you know that this is my favorite pod. There's no pod that gets me juiced up like the LSU baseball season preview. Mike, how we feeling tonight?
No, there's nothing that mixes any better than LSU baseball and Brett. So I'm excited to see him work. No, in all seriousness, I know Grant's been just really getting after it, and
Slaying.
the booth slaying away on working on this presentation. So for those listening to this podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen, go ahead and do yourself a favor. Take a peek at the YouTube channel. We're going to have some fun graphics, some cool list of the players. But I do think we're going to get a little bit of football talk before we dive too deep into baseball. A lot of news, sort of.
A lot of news, some news, a little bit of news. Alabama had to go find coordinators, and Alabama found the best coordinators that have ever coordinated football. So good for them.
Coordinated football, absolutely. Offense and defense alike. Tommy Rees, huge
Legend.
huge pickup from Notre Dame. Really, I mean, just pretty much in alignment with what Saban loves to bring in, talented gurus at the position, especially those that are close to taking a head coaching job in the SEC or, going to the NFL and or coming from the NFL. So Tommy Rees fits that bill perfectly. And so does Kevin Steele.
What an interesting, what do you think about the whole Tommy Rees thing? Is it something that, if Bama comes calling, you have no choice but to leave? Because obviously I get Bama's Bama, but it's like you had the opportunity to go with Brian Kelly, like the guy you've been with, the guy that and you kind of said, no, I'm going to stick it out here to just 1 year later flip.
You heard the story. It was a tough call. He was in and out of the shower, had a couple drinks by the fire, stayed up all night. I think that had a lot to do with Marcus Freeman and giving him a fair shot on his first season, seeing how that goes. And then also all of a sudden, the spotlight's on Marcus Freeman for ending the season on a high note, and the offense was the crew that was really weighing them down in the beginning. So I don't think the Tommy Rees allura was very high.
Saban probably doesn't call you twice. If you turn him down once, you probably don't get offered again.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of angles to this. You could be the pessimist and say, Notre Dame or Tommy Rees felt like this was his only shot, that Notre Dame's going to suck next year and his stock's not going to be any higher than it is now. Or two, hey, maybe it's a mixture of both. Nick Saban struck out on a lot of candidates and was like, fuck it, let me just go get a dude that's young. Maybe it's my last hoorah. I can ride this guy out until I retire because he's a young dude. I don't know. He's not a threat to challenge me when I say we're running the football from now on. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. It looks like he's definitely gone that route for defense with Kevin Steele of just kind of getting a surefire thing and letting him run the defense on his own and just have Kevin in there for, I don't know, discussions about what's in the funny papers.
It's like I've been kind of thinking back about every time Bama hires a guy because they all kind of come in and out. And it's like, when Daboll gets the job, you're like, oh, whatever. Their offense is obviously really good. And then, Lane was obviously the splash hire, but then you bring Bill O'Brien back in and it's like, I don't think Tommy Rees strikes fear in me. Do I think Alabama's offense is probably going to be pretty good next year because of the talent that they have and everything. But it's like, I'm not sitting here like, oh my God, Saban just built the dream team. We are so screwed. We thought Brian Kelly had a chance. We're fucked now. I'm not sitting here feeling that.
No, and I don't feel that way either about Jay Juwan Johnson going to Colorado. This is a guy from, was it Lake Charles? Is it Lake Charles, Grant?
Lafayette Christian.
Lafayette Christian Academy, LCA. If you want to go play for Deion Sanders, go play for Deion Sanders. Have fun. Do your thing. I
I
believe
hope it works out.
yeah, junior in high school wanting to go play for prime time, whatever, man. This isn't like we're recruiting a 5-star quarterback for 4 years and all of a sudden he bails on his commitment for Colorado, which I would probably respond with, "Hey, we have plenty of time." And Brett, you brought up a great point, and I'll let you take that point and expound on it just about two different schools.
It's exactly whenever you decide to go play for Dion, and like you said, like being in high school and having Coach Prime be the one that wants you to come play, like I imagine it's awesome. But it's like to choose that over what LSU is, which is like such a strong foundation with Brian Kelly with X amount of years, all this stuff. Like it's just two totally different things. It's you're going for the Instagram model instead of this, which is completely fine. Like good luck to you, but it's like there's no winning you back. What are we gonna go back and sell you on? It's like you kinda understand the divide of, like, you wanna go to Colorado, go to the cool school, and be a part of this first thing. It's like, I don't know that LSU can, like, offer you that. We're gonna graduate champions and SWAT team leaders and all this stuff. Like, it's just different. So it's like, good luck to you. I'm really happy you didn't go to Auburn or Bama or Florida or anywhere else. I hope you're part of the crew that like makes Colorado good for a couple years. I'm in.
Yeah, I don't mind Colorado getting good. They're not going to be a threat to us. And, at the end of the day, I think this is just a kid that's having fun. And maybe he grows up a little bit within the next year and actually wants to be a part of something his home state's brewing. But if not, like you said, dude, go have fun in Colorado. I don't give a shit. It's
And
not Bama. It's not like he's going to Ole Miss with Walker Howard to go run that offense. I mean, and he's an athlete. We'll find athletes.
if you ask me today what the better decision is for this kid 4, 5, 6 years down the road, it's like, sure, I'm probably going to say LSU, but there's no telling. Maybe he gets the opportunity early at Colorado. And once again, let it all play out. But we were talking about the whole Dion experiment. And it's like, for me, I think best case scenario for Dion is catching lightning in a bottle and taking that big job. Like, I just don't think Colorado is going to be the place you like plant your flag and we're rowing the boat here forever. It's like, if you can get it going, nice. Take that Florida State job, take that big job that comes up, and good luck to you. So it's like maybe we see this dude in 2 years in the portal, and we're like, hey, yeah, come back home. We'll still take you. We like Louisiana guys. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. And, Dion going to Colorado is far more for Dion than it is to build Colorado. So, it is what it is. It'll be fun to watch, but at the same time, I don't expect much. But the one Jay
You must
Johnson that I
watch
do
for the first
expect.
time. For the first time in a long time, you're tuning into a Colorado game.
Yeah, that's for sure. Cool uniforms. Love the colors.
Did y'all see when Lil Wayne was touring the locker room this weekend or last week?
I saw that it happened. I didn't watch the video.
He's touring and he's like, man, in his voice, he's like, Coach.
Yeah, let's
he's
not
like,
do any impressions.
he said, when these kids lose and they come back to this locker room, they're just not going to care anymore because of how nice it is. It was the funniest thing. And Dion's like, well, yeah, I mean, we're not going to lose. And Lil Wayne's like, yeah, you will. And the kids really won't give a shit because this locker room's really nice.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, there is one Jay Johnson that I will care about, and that is our coach, Jay Johnson of the preseason #1 ranked LSU Baseball Tigers men's.
That is him.
Men's baseball.
So I guess, the only way to start it, because people are asking for Grant's Pulse of the Nation. Will Tennessee win the College World Series?
Look, I guessed right last year. I actually guessed right pretty early on in the season, and I'm going to guess right again. They will not make it to the College World Series just like last year.
Ooh.
Whoa, again.
They missed it last year.
Yeah, but I mean, dude, did you see the pitching staff? Did you see the pitching staff?
Yeah, we're not going to get into that just yet, but yeah.
Yeah, Supreme Rice. People are asking
Supreme Rice this evening.
Really? With what?
I made a little fried rice on the griddle. It's quite
sweet.
Tasty. It's quite delicious.
Was that all you had, or was it with like beans? Was it for like red beans and rice? Was it for like a side
No, it's
dish
like
on the taco?
a Asian inspired hibachi session. Little teriyaki chicken, little egg fried rice. It was quality. Supreme Rice. Huge fans of what we're doing here. Supreme Rice.
Thank you guys. So yeah, y'all want to get into the baseball preview?
Grant?
Sure, yeah. Just waiting on Brett to interrupt, but yeah, we can get into it.
What is that supposed to mean?
Okay, so here we are. We're preseason ranked #1, a insane recruiting class,
A tradition unlike any other.
an insane transfer portal class. I mean, we have guys across the board that are elite coming into play. We've got freshmen pushing for positions. We've got some new coaches on staff, right, Grant?
A couple new coaches, a guy from Duke, and
Guy
a
from Duke.
guy he was highly touted.
It's always what you
and
want to
then
see
I
in
think we
baseball.
have a guy from TCU as well, so that's a traditional baseball school. So, and then
When you
our
hear
pitching
Duke,
coach
you
is
think
from
of
the
seams.
Minnesota. Our pitching coach from the Minnesota Twins.
Can't
So
get any
you know
better.
they were first, and he's coached in the SEC. He's been at Arkansas, Mississippi State, 2 powerhouse programs in the SEC, so he understands college baseball.
Right.
You know, it's not just like a guy taking a leap. Oh, I want to go and do this. I think he's definitely going to change our pitching staff for the better.
And we beefed up the pitching staff in general. The players are pretty top heavy, I would say, and from the transfer
a lot of
portal.
big guys.
A lot of big beef, and we'll get into all that beef here soon. One of the interesting things we brought up in the previous podcast, you know, for whatever reason, we didn't really want to compare these players to former greats of LSU baseball because they're just so different. There's something about the historical value of this team that I feel like they will be slated in history among some of the great athletes of all time, like a Reggie Bush and like a Matt Leinart and like the dominant USC football team under Pete Carroll. So I think our first few slides here are actually some of those comparisons, right?
It's such a great comparison. You know, when you're talking about baseball and comparing them to football players and football teams of the past, especially college. And, you know, you hit the nail on the head. Cruz.
Who is the Reggie Bush?
Dylan Cruz is this year's Reggie Bush of college baseball.
He's the #1 player in the league, right?
In the world.
In the world.
So if there were a Heisman Trophy candidate in college baseball this year, I think it would be Dylan Cruz.
And he'd keep it.
And he would keep it because NIL, he can make as much money as he wants, and we're good to go.
But he's donating his money back. Have y'all seen that trend lately where like the big shots are like,
Yeah.
I'm not taking this money, I'm turning it into the food trucks.
That was Thatcher Hurd did that this week.
Yeah,
he wanted to donate all of his NIL money.
Under just like, boys, what the hell? Like if I wanted to donate to Goodwill, I would have.
Yeah, and then
it's like I could have donated to the food bank myself. I'm paying you to pitch.
yeah.
And then
I want you to rock out. All right.
It was such a good story, and it was like that's awesome to see. And I think it was Jock posted like a video or a picture of the dude like at the food bank, and like once again, kudos, bravo. But I was like, guys, can we stock the shelf behind him a little better?
Yeah,
like
bare.
It looks fucking bare.
We've got some Campbell's Chunky for this year's donation. Dude, and then,
rice.
Yeah,
that shelf should just be like layered, like hide what I don't know. It was hilarious. Like I couldn't stop thinking about it.
Well, then Brock Bowers from Georgia, they had a big write-up about how he's turning down the collective money, but then like at the very bottom of the article, he's like he is only getting his endorsement deals, actual like clothing endorsements. He's like, I'll take that. But like no shit. Do you think he's walking around to like the third string center and just like grabbing his 100? Like, give me that shit. Like, of course he's going to let the rest of the team have the collective. Like,
I also wonder like how much money is Thatcher Hurd actually making in NIL deals in baseball? You know, like how much was that?
Yeah, I'd love to see it too. Because whenever we were in school, it was always like, oh yeah, they're on the baseball team, but like they don't get shit. Like, the good players get it. The rest of them get, divvied up to paying for books and their apartment. I don't know, but I'm sure now it's a lot different.
Yeah. Well, he got like $37. He was like, I'm not going to the bank to like cash this. What? No.
It's a couple soups.
Our next USC.
Well, hold on. Bush, hold on. Because one, this picture of Reggie Bush is perfect because Reggie Bush was on the forefront of having like a cool, I'm not ever going to have my chin straps on. Like it's connected at the top, the low ones are dangling. I feel like the pre Reggie Bush, everyone was like the double around the chin.
Well, he also had like the fat chin strap too. Like the chin guard itself was one of the fat boys, and so that was
it
good.
is.
So, and that was just, I don't know. Reggie Bush just always looked like the coolest dude. And then his highlights are like the nastiest. Someone on Twitter within like the last 4 days was like, we forgot, which sucks. It makes us feel old whenever you see like, we forgot Reggie Bush's highlight film. Like, no, I still remember that shit. I watched it all the time.
Vividly remember. But it's like us growing up and being like, dude, y'all have no idea about how sick Barry Sanders was. It's like, well, I've seen some highlights, but Reggie Bush is sick, you know? And then nowadays it's like, you know, people are looking back on Derrick Henry as if one of the greats of all time. It's like, can we please stop? Can we please like focus in on highlights?
Reggie was just like an all-time video game character. Like when you got him in NCAA 05 or whatever one it was, like just incredible, unstoppable.
Yeah. Got the signature, still have it to this day. Got a signed copy of that video game from Reggie.
I've always been sneaky, like so jealous of that because you were like, yeah, I got Reggie to sign it. And I was like, immediately, I was like, you didn't get him to sign a football? And you were like, no. And I was like, that's way sicker to have like Reggie Bush game.
Yeah.
Is Dylan Cruz going to be that guy, or is he just really good?
Yes, both. And the next character on this list is possibly equally as important to this team. And if there was a Heisman second place in the Heisman, it would be this guy, Paul Skeens, or if Mike wants to pronounce it.
Mike says Paul Skenes, but Matt Leinart did win the Heisman the year before.
He did.
We've got 2 Heisman Trophy winners on our teams. Paul Skeens is the Matt Leinart of this crew. He is the cerebral captain coming from Air Force.
Yep.
I don't know if that makes sense, but I mean, monster.
They say he's very resourceful.
A balloon wouldn't have been up for that many days on Paul Skenes's watch.
Skenes he would have roped that shit down with a fastball.
Yeah. Or he could have tossed it up and hit it. He does it both.
He does do both.
Which we're going to get to that.
$500,000 on a rocket.
We'll talk about Paul playing both ways, both offense and defense later on.
We'll get
there.
Yeah,
Matt Leinart, speaking of guys that looked really good and trendsetters in Reggie Bush, Matt, I feel like was the opposite in this.
No, Matt Leinart was like the Orange County like surfer boy. Like people love Matt Leinart.
No,
you know?
But look at the way he's wearing his uniform. He looks like an old Tom Brady or something. You know,
he looks like Kurt Warner.
That does not look like Joe Burrow, right? I mean,
no, I get it. He's got I get it. The pads were a little thicker back then.
The wristband. Look how big the wristband is on his wrist. He
wants dry hands, dude. He's got small hands.
He definitely looks like it's like he's come out of retirement. It's like, guys, I'm gonna have to do it one more time. Like God, like the knee brace, the elbow pad. He's got a couple Brett Favre copper fit sleeves on. Like
he doesn't look like a 21-year-old.
He gets there. He gets to the park 4 hours early to get a stretch, and then after he's got to be in the hot tub and the cold plunge. Like he's got a whole routine to get the body going. I'm with Grant on this.
And I think Paul Skenes is similar.
He's very similar. He's not going to be flashy. He's going to put his head down. He's going to go to work every day, bring his lunch pail guy.
And then he's going to
very humble.
You. He's going to pound you with 99 mile an hour fastballs.
He is going to pound that strike zone just like I was pounding the chicken the other day when I was pounding it down, flatten it to cook.
All right, next one.
Oh shit.
Oh no, you skipped past Tommy White.
We went back. How do you go back? There we go. Okay.
Who is the Lindale White?
I think it's Tommy White, his cousin. Tommy Tanks White and Lindale White are related, which is the perfect, comparison here. I mean, look at the tiger on that guy's forearm right there. If you could zoom in.
Tommy White Tanks has a tiger tattoo on his left forearm.
And And he is also the perfect comparison to Lindale because he might be forgotten about this year when we talk about the first two guys we just discussed of Cruz and Skeens. Tommy White is coming in from North Carolina State. He batted .360 last year as a freshman.
Yeah.
He had 27 home runs, broke the freshman home run record. What else? Let's see.
He was one of those guys coming out of high school that was a draft pick that they never thought would actually sign. And he stayed and went to college, and then he bolted to LSU after 1 year of being like an MVP. So I bet.
So is he gonna have 2 years, or is he one of those guys who's like old enough that can leave?
No, he's going to be here for 2
yeah.
years.
He has two. He has at least 2 years, this year and next year.
Yeah. So Tommy Tanks is a bad motherfucker. He's a guy apparently a lot nimbler than he looks.
And we'll
Just
discuss
like
him more
Lindale,
when we get to
big cat.
Yeah,
Yeah, just like
bring him in
Lindale.
on the goal line, you know. But we'll discuss him a little further on.
Is
Those
he
are
playing
last-
third base?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be at third base. We'll break down all the positions in a little bit.
Don't ask
And then the last comparison we have is Trey Morgan and Dwayne Jarrett. It was either him or Steve Smith of USC.
Why is that?
Because they were just the best wideouts and most athletic out of all those guys, besides Reggie. But obviously, you can't.
Right, but so Trey's a wideout.
Yes, he's a wideout, first baseman. Dwayne Jarrett did have, I think, 1,300 or 1,400 yards receiving multiple times. So I felt like that was a better comparison.
Receiving.
But he was a bust in the NFL. So I'm hoping that's not the case for Trey Morgan.
Well, I don't care what he does in the pros.
He's a 2-year starter.
I'm down for him to be a bust in the pros. Doesn't really hurt me.
Yeah, that means he got it. He's in the pros, and he's considered a bust. That means we had expectations leaving LSU.
Yeah,
who wouldn't want to bust in the pros?
Yeah, we'll see. I might bust later.
All right, so that was our comparison with USC. Oh no, one more. Jay Johnson.
There's one more.
Totally
one more.
Together.
So Jay Johnson. Almost championship.
Can't wait to put this on Twitter.
Any podcast can compare LSU baseball players to LSU football players, but this is the only spot where you're going to get a 20-year-old football team.
Tell me that those two guys do not look similar.
No, West Coast. I get it.
Exactly.
I get it.
Exactly.
I get it.
They win. They do what they got to do. But yeah, just added that in there. Jay Johnson with an apostrophe. Sorry about that.
None of the players on this team weren't even alive during this season.
No, they have to look at Rich highlights. Actually, he was good.
Holy crap, that's true.
Okay, let's get into the position groups, and I think we have catcher up first.
So we discussed catcher a little bit last week, so we're just gonna cruise on through. No, I think Milazzo is gonna be your starting catcher on Friday in 2 weeks. He's just that good defensively, and when last year we struggled as much as we did defensively, where we finished dead last in the SEC, a lot of those errors were from the catcher because Milazzo was hurt. I just think he's going to get the nod. He's going to start. I think Brady Neal's going to come in. He's going to definitely play on Saturday and Sunday, possibly even Friday.
Who's Brady Neal?
Brady Neal's a freshman. He was basically 5-star type of guy from IMG Academy. Let's
world-renowned baseball.
There he is. So he bats left-handed, which is great for a catcher that can. You can mix them in the order. Jay Johnson really likes to go right, left. So that just adds some versatility in the roster.
So when I was talking to Adam, that he couldn't be on, but he said that expect Brady Neal to absolutely come through as a major threat with Milazzo, but he would see the defensive threat of Milazzo or the defensive security from Milazzo kind of setting him apart in the beginning and letting the true freshman get acclimated to SEC play.
Yep, you're exactly Adam spot on. I think you can't have a team with just one catcher. I mean, catchers take a beating throughout the season, so you've got to have more than one catcher that can actually hit, defense, everything. So we're lucky. This is the deepest catcher.
I was waiting for Brett to pop in.
The deepest we've been at catcher in a while. So no, I think Neal being a true freshman, that's where it's like, I don't know yet. I trust Milazzo back there. I don't trust his bat as much, but it really might not matter when we talk about some of the next guys on this roster. As long as
I don't
he
think,
can,
and I don't think we really need to get into, like, obviously the backups: Hayden Travinski, Jared Jones, Ethan Frey. We don't need to go through the entire roster.
no,
Let's
because
just go with
they'll
projected
come up,
starters.
they'll come up again in other positions because those three guys are also very versatile. The first two are the guys you really need to worry about for catcher.
Right. Milazzo and Neal, we're looking at Milazzo to probably take the starting position in the first game.
Yep.
All right. First base, Dwayne Jarrett.
First base, Dwayne Jarrett Morgan, Trey Morgan. He's been a 2-year starter. He started the last 2 years. Last year he batted.
What happened to him last year?
I mean, he still batted 324. Let's see, batted 324.
I mean,
he was a little hurt. He had a hamstring injury last year,
what I
which slowed him down a little bit. But he did start 62 games, so he started every game. Little slowed down with an injury, but I mean, defensively, he's as good as it gets at first base. A lot of people were asking, is he going to move to the outfield? Is he going to play receiver for us on the football team? And it's like, no, he's going to play first base. That's where he belongs.
Probably could be a 6 shortstop as well.
If he was right-handed, honestly, he would be. He would either be a second base or shortstop. Yeah. So anyway, Trey Morgan, I mean, he's going to get forgotten about when, just as we go through this roster, but he's a guy that's going to come there every day to work, very humble, team player, but also very talented.
Not a big competition right now at first base. You got to think Trey Morgan's got that secured, and if we need others,
it's not even close. It's not even close.
Yeah,
but Beloso has been here. This is his 4th year, I think, 4th or 5th year. He got hurt last year early on.
Yeah, White Sox Dave.
Yep. John Curtis guy. Trey Morgan, I think, is a Brother Martin guy. We got Kate Beloso, John Curtis guy. So we got a little bit of New Orleans right there.
You do have Jared Jones as another backup, but who you did leave off is Tommy White is able to service that first base position.
He is. Crazy things would have to happen, or he just has to suck at third. I don't know. I mean, Tommy White's in the lineup no matter what.
You have depth at first base.
You have depth at first base. Other guys, Stravinsky and Frey that you saw at catcher, they can also play first base.
All right.
Anyone can play first base. Just catch the ball.
Just catch it. Web it up.
There's Beloso there. Love the
what
beard.
Beloso's
a guy. This is one thing about him. He could have easily went in the transfer portal this year, went to wherever he wanted and started. But he said, nope, I think this team's going to be special. I know my role. My role is probably going to be on the bench for most of the year. Maybe I'll get a pinch hit. Maybe I'll DH. If someone goes down, I'll step in. He postponed his wedding to come back and play on this baseball team.
I would have to think staying on.
I would postpone my wedding.
Championship team is more attractive as a baseball potential transfer
than his wife,
like Southeastern, and being like, I'm going to play this year.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I think that's huge because he's been around the program for so long. All this ranked #1 recruiting class. I think he's going to be able to guide them and teach them the ways of how LSU baseball is supposed to be done. So I love him being around.
All right, I'm ready to talk second base. This is where you can start. You got Ben Nipple.
So
you put Ben Nipple.
Ben the Nipple. I think he's your day one starter at second base. Transfer from VCU, that's Virginia Commonwealth. Had a pretty decent season. I mean, they're no slouch in baseball, but they're not making it to Omaha and winning regionals. But he did start there, and he's a junior, so he's played. He's got some experience over there, and I think he just fits. He fits what we're trying to do at second. Dugas. The only reason why Dugas isn't starting at second, I think, is because he has recently had an eye surgery. He was hurt last year, all kind of different injuries. I think he had an eye surgery recently. And then Jack Merrifield, Mike. I don't know if you mentioned him earlier. You were hoping it wasn't him. I don't know why, but
Well, anybody that's been on this, listen, we haven't been great in the past few seasons, and we've got this big, highly touted transfer group, big freshman group, blah blah blah. I would just hate to go into this season being like, this is going to be the best team. Oh, and by the way, like half of these people have been playing for a few years, and we've been sucking ass. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like let's give some new blood a shot. Nippolt is definitely a guy that I had on my radar. I think Guidry takes over at second base. Yeah, I know you don't have him on here, but
yeah. We'll get to him, the Barb guy.
yeah, the Barb guy, number one.
Yeah. He might have to find a spot, but I mean, we have a lot of good problems. Once we get through this roster, so there's only 9 guys that can play. Technically 8 because the pitcher is just going to be the pitcher. We have a legit 16 to 20 guys that could start on any SEC roster. I mean,
I get it.
It's
Guidry's
pretty
going to be
ridiculous.
one of those infield guys that could play a lot of different positions. Obviously, talking to Adam, he believes that he's next up behind Jordan Thompson. So I think they're going to get him some work.
The only issue with Guidry is in all of the scrimmages. It's just scrimmages, it's just team against team. He's 0 for 14 in all of his at-bats.
Guidry? Never mind. I didn't know that. That's a great point.
Yeah,
That's a great point. Let's go with Nipple.
Now, but again, that's just basically practices. You give him a shot in a real situation, maybe he does better. But yes, I'm with you. That dude's going to be he's going to be our shortstop next year. No questions asked. He's the starting shortstop.
Well, he better start hitting the fucking ball in scrimmages.
He will. That's how baseball is.
Nipple looks exactly as you want your second baseman to look. I'll just say that. Like,
yes,
exactly.
Yep, I would 100% agree with you on that.
Yeah, I think
glasses
it's the
on the hat.
Yeah, it's
the double tight, like around the wrist, like we're just putting some like athletic tape on our wrist, like
the shoulder
pants
release
all the way down. We're probably gonna have a little elbow sleeve on our throwing. Like he just fits it. He's gonna have some fighting necklaces on, and like, dude, no one's wore those in 10 years. He's like, yeah, but this is my lucky one.
Yeah,
negative ion energy. Like he's got it.
I agree. That's
Virginia.
I think he's in. We've talked a little bit about Tommy White. Big guy.
Tommy,
6 foot 242. I mean, if that's not a Lindell White comparison, fullback, running back type of guy, I don't know what is. Just mean looking, nitty gritty. Third base last year we struggled, so I'm hoping defensively. I really don't know how he's going to be defensively.
One of the absolute best players in the nation last year comes in and is just going to be just a rocket launcher at the plate.
Yep. That's all we really need him for. If we're scoring 10 runs a game, I don't care what we're doing defensively in certain games.
I think what I've heard from Adam is that Tommy is actually way more polished in the field than people expect. Like and that's like one of the big keys to this team is if Tanks can square away that third base position, then you can play with that DH role.
He DH'd pretty much. I think it was probably 90% of the games last year at North Carolina State. That's part of the reason why he transferred here was Jay Johnson said, hey, you're going to get to actually play in the field. You don't have to just be a DH. We need a third baseman. And he's like, okay. Because when he gets to the next level, he's going to have to do more than just hit.
Okay. Yeah.
So, it makes sense. Like I said earlier, he batted 360, 85 hits, 12 doubles, 27 home runs, 74 RBIs as a freshman. I mean, the kid can absolute slaughter the baseball. Your prototypical 4-hole hitter, 4-hole hitter. And then Mike's favorite guy, Jack Merrifield.
Look, don't. I'm just saying, I don't think he's the starting second baseman. I don't hate the kid. Come on.
Yeah. Well,
come
on. Big kid though, 6'2", 190, senior. So he's going to help depth. He's going to be that pinch runner type of guy. He's going to be able to back up primarily all 3 infield positions. Same thing with Gavin Guidry. Gavin Guidry is going to back up all 3 infield positions when we get to short.
And then whoever doesn't start at second is going to be backing up everywhere. Like that. That's a nice rotation.
The only 2 guys that won't, like Thompson is going to be a shortstop. White is going to be a third baseman.
And Trey is going to be the first baseman. So
Trey's going to be the first. So all the other guys can pretty much play
are always
wherever
going to be
they
the
want.
backup. Yep.
Shortstop, Jordan Thompson's going to he's going to start at short. He's been here. This is his second year. He's the same as Cruz, right? And third year, started for 2 years. Same as Cruz and Trey Morgan. Last year he batted where's he at? 286. I'll take that from our shortstop. If you can bat 280 plus, if he can do that again this year, would he have 6 home runs? I'll take it. We just got to bring the errors down.
Moments late in the season, he does. Yes. He's very slumpy and very streaky.
I like him down on the order. 6, 7, 8 hole, streaky hitter. Clutch hitter, like you said.
I prefer slumpy. I like Mike. I like slumpy.
I would rather him not slumpy. I do like the word.
No, it's a trend. He's got a slumpy trend.
He's slumpy. I get it.
But then he's got some streakies.
You know what? He's also tatted up. We got a lot of tatted up guys on this team.
Yeah,
Maneri would have never
gone
like
that out of my shortstop. I need a clean cut Derek Jeter,
Agreed.
Not a fan.
Jordan Thompson definitely looks like Captain Hook.
He does. He does look like an interesting character. I think he's from California.
Yes,
which
all right. Well, okay, I can be swayed back then.
But yeah, that's it. He's your shortstop. We've talked about these other backups.
That's Gavin Guidry's
That's
picture.
Gavin Guidry. So Gavin Guidry's from Barb. He pitched a lot at Barb in high school.
That's him making a throw from short.
Actually, it was.
Why does he have a play sheet on his stick?
Yeah, Barb does some football stuff like that, I guess.
It's a heavy belt.
But he's the next. He's the shortstop.
Kramer Robinson all over again, hand mittens and everything.
Mm-hmm. He's a big guy. I mean, 6'2". I mean, look at the size of that for a shortstop. That's baseball wise. It's a pretty big shortstop.
He needed a big belt.
So that position's locked down unless Thompson just absolutely shits the bed, and I don't see that.
Well,
happen.
No, he's more streaky than full blown shits.
Yeah, or slumpy.
Or slumpy, depending on what boxers are wearing.
Shits.
Let's go into left field.
So left field and right field are going to be interchangeable. I've noticed some things in the scrimmages to where this probably won't make sense.
Pearson, right.
Okay, that's what I have. I have Paxton Kling in left.
Yeah.
And so Kling
that's Paxton Kling?
That's Paxton Kling.
I mean, if there's ever been someone named Paxton Kling, that's him.
Oh man, I don't know. I don't know about Paxton Kling.
Dude, that's why I put this. That's why I put this picture on here because I knew that y'all would pick him apart.
No, now that I see his size,
you're judging a book by its cover.
That doesn't look 6'2", 210. That looks like a hobby.
That does not look 6'2", 210. I agree with Mike on that. But it literally looks like you put in the AI generator, show me Paxton Kling, and this is 100% what popped out. I love this guy. I'm on Team Kling.
Yeah, I like Team Kling. I think he's fast as shit. He's from Pennsylvania, and he skipped the draft, and apparently he's a fucking dog. What is he? He was number 2 ranked player? Or?
Yeah, he was when it was all said and done, he was 19th in the world for this draft class. And he said, nope, I'm going to LSU. So we have another Dylan Cruz type of dog that's going to be able to run, hit. He's a 5-tool player, can do it all. He does look a little goofy. From Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a baseball state. That's where Cooperstown is, right? I think that's where
Amish country.
I thought that was Ohio, but yeah.
Maybe so. It's somewhere. It's all the same. But I think Kling gets
the
start.
I'll be for this one.
The biggest takeaway is that Stevenson played a lot last year. Obviously, Dugas played some outfield last year, and we'll talk about the right fielders in a second too. I think Kling gets the start on Friday on the opening day. And
has he been hitting well?
Honestly, yeah, he's batting close to 300, which I'll take it with the way our pitchers have been throwing in the scrimmages, and we'll get to that in a second. But Kling, 6'2", 210, that's a big dude. He's going to be hitting double-digit home runs throughout his career at LSU.
Tight.
Once he figures out, the pace of the game, he'll be doing that. So I'm excited about him. He's probably the biggest impact position player that we're getting in this recruiting class.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brett. Wait, you're muted, Brett. You're muted.
I did mute. I muted the cough, so you're welcome for that. Cooperstown is in New York.
New York. It's where's the football Hall of Fame?
Ohio.
That's in Ohio.
Ohio. Can't. Yeah.
I think Pennsylvania just mostly has like the Amish.
And they have the Liberty Bell, Paxton Kling, and Shane Gillis.
And
what? Talk about a 3. Like,
and your world
unfortunately,
champion.
there's no one else for the Mount Rushmore.
And Jalen Hurts. All right.
So that's your Josh Stevenson played a lot last year. He was he's from Lafayette. That's Stevenson's brother. Yes, Andrew Stevenson. So he can fly. The thing is
jacked up when someone's from Lafayette for some reason. He's like, oh, he's from Lafayette.
He loves them from Lafayette.
Fucking loves
close to home, man. It's close to home.
It hits close to home.
No, so Josh Stevenson was pretty good high school player. His brother's obviously notable. But he has struggled a lot. Like, I would love it if he would have taken this job over in the outfield.
Who, Josh?
Josh. But apparently he hasn't. And he struggled in the fall. He was like 1 for 30 in the fall. And he's struggling again this spring. So that's, again, why I think Paxton's going to take his spot.
So do you think this is wishful thinking? Like, hey, we've got this badass freshman coming in. He's going to start in left field. Or is this legit? Like, Paxton Kling is a no doubt Friday night, Western Kentucky or Michigan, whatever. One of the Westerns. No, the team we're playing.
Oh, the team. Yeah.
I thought we were playing Pennsylvania. I was so amped for a second.
Ohio. No, Western Michigan, Paxton Kling, left field, right?
Yeah, I mean, if we're just going off these pictures, like, give me Kling 1,000%. Like, he's not wearing this inside of the ankle brace here, and like, it's just give me Kling, Team Kling.
All right,
start the hashtag.
PK.
All right, center field. We all know who's going to be here.
Reggie Bush,
obviously, but let's say it anyway.
Dylan Cruz, aka Reggie Bush.
Look at the ass on that.
I mean,
he's got a dumper.
Yeah. He must work out.
So,
like, it looks like he's got 6 packs of sunflower seeds in that back pocket.
No, that's nothing. There's nothing in that back pocket.
It's actually his behind.
That's a dumper.
That'd be wild.
So he's just going to tear it up again if they throw to him,
yeah,
which they have to.
What's his thing? Is he fast? Does he hit bombs? What's his thing?
He's the definition of 5-tool player. He's going to hit, he's going to run, he's going to throw, he's going to catch, he's going to swag.
4 and 5.
No, he's going to hit. It's hitting for power and hitting for contact.
There it is.
That's the two. That's the 2 hittings. But Dylan Cruz,
he's a fielder, right? I mean, like, he can stretch the field out there. He can.
Yeah,
really,
I think Adam. What did Adam say? His arm was in the 70s on his little scale.
Adam, we haven't talked about outfield yet. We left off after third base. I think actually we should be on a call tonight, but we're just going to go one at a time.
We split it up infield and outfield.
Yeah. So we haven't really gotten to Dylan yet, but more to come.
Dylan. So I was waiting on someone to make a meme of Dylan hitting a home run and it knocking one of those balloons out of the sky, and no one did it. And I'm just not quite that talented yet.
Ask ChatGPT, dude.
Yeah, that's true. I should have done that. Yeah.
Can you please give me Dylan Cruz smacking the Chinese balloon out of the air?
With a cruise missile.
And
make sure it says cruise missile.
Yeah, please give us 0.4 of a second.
So I mean, I don't know what else we need to say about Dylan Cruz. He batted .350 last year, 22 home runs, 72 RBIs.
Yeah,
he doesn't strike out and he walks a lot. Like, yes, he's your Golden Spikes, aka Heisman Trophy winner of college baseball this year, potentially. And then you can name it who's gonna. I mean, anyone's gonna back him up in center field. It could be Kling, Stevenson, and the next guy.
Don't take him out.
His name, Dylan Cruz, feels more like a shortstop than a center fielder to me.
I mean,
Cruz.
Yeah, it could be both. So I've always viewed shortstops and center fielders as like a similar, like the shortstop is the guy in the infield, and the center fielder is the guy in the outfield. I mean, the guy in the outfield only has to beat out two other people. Shortstop's got to beat out 5.
Yeah,
4.
I mean, it just I don't know. I think if you just had to kind of think about it for a second and think, what would Tom Cruise play? I'd probably say short. So
Probably.
all right.
And
All right.
before we get into right field, we got to get a little bit of a whiskey. I love it.
Got to get the whiskey. Right field, I think so. Josh Pearson, he started. Let's see, he started 35
He turned
games
it on
year.
at the end of last season.
He came in late. He started 35 games as a true freshman. He ended up hitting 8 home runs. He's from West Monroe.
Nice.
We like that.
We love that.
We love that.
We love that.
We love to see that.
We love to see that. The only problem is
the only thing better if it was from
he's
last.
batting in 20. So I think he still gets the nod, and we'll talk a little bit about that with the next guy, Braden Jobert, who played a lot last year as well.
Jobert's probably going to be the DH.
Exactly. So unless the problem is Pearson is 1 for 18 in the fall. So it's like,
you can't win with him.
This guy, Josh Pearson.
So Pearson and Guidry are both busts.
They're both, Pearson proved himself last year, but he's struggling mightily right now. Yeah, so we'll have to see. That's where I'm confused now. Will he get this? Will he be the third outfielder or not? I think it depends. I think, honestly, if he keeps that up with the way he's non-producing in scrimmages, I think Jobert is going to end up starting in the outfield, and Beloso is going to be your DH. And we'll get to that. Or Jones.
Yeah. I mean, is there anyone doing – go ahead.
Can I just say it feels like a lot of question marks for this like consensus GOAT team of all GOATs.
3 positions.
Fair?
3 positions.
Fair?
It's fair. That's a fair assessment.
We haven't gotten to the pitchers yet. I think the pitchers are where
still question marks at pitchers. So it is a
question mark.
It's a fair point, Brett. But baseball's kind of like basketball, where
Brett, this is what baseball's like.
No, but here's the thing: your roster turnover in baseball and basketball is way different than football. So I'm trying to break it down to you in layman's terms for you,
because you're a layman.
I'm a layman. No, I mean, look, I hope all these guys are awesome. It just felt like a lot of like, well, maybe if this guy sucks, we'll do this and this. And
no, but
the depth is probably a huge plus. That it's hard to say when you're naming a starting 9 and stuff. But I don't know. It just felt like a little bit of like we think this guy's going to be good, and we're talking about I think if we get slumpy, hanging the fucking magazines in every diner across America. That's all.
If we start getting slumpy, we've got guys that can come in and play. I mean,
there's a lot of depth. There's at least 4 or 5 guys that are solid as concrete. Where they're not struggling, they are going to be stars, and that's where you have another 4 or 5 guys that are the question marks. So I don't know, but I think Pearson. I hope he wakes up and becomes our starter either in left or right field, and Kling left or right field. That way we can.
My question was, is anyone successful right now in these scrimmages, or are we just getting dominated by our pitchers?
Yes.
Yeah, everything I see is like, hey, we have like 90 strikeouts and 4 hits.
No, Jared Jones has, and you've seen him as a backup at catcher. You've seen him as a backup at first base. When we get to DH, he'll be a backup at DH. I'm starting to think, now this is just scrimmages. Again, that doesn't really mean anything.
No, I put some heat in the scrimmages going.
But in the scrimmages, he is leading the team in average.
Okay.
And he's a true freshman.
Who's the top 6?
Jones, Morgan, Cruz, Jobert, Beloso, White. So Morgan, Cruz, and White are, those are the guys that need to be up there.
Yeah, no, everybody
Jobert,
like
Beloso's kind of surprising.
Sorry.
But that's
Had to get my point across.
That's him.
All right, so
Morgan
Josh
Cruz
Jackson.
sounds like the new country star in Nashville.
I don't think you can double up on Morgan's.
Seems like the name you can.
Joe Bear.
Yeah.
We didn't talk. Joe Bear started a lot of games last year. Let's see, how many games did he start out there?
Are we on DH?
Joe Bear
yet?
started. We're still in right field. Joe Bear, which he will be a DH prospect. Joe Bear started 57 games last year, had 18 home runs and 58 RBIs, batted .250. So I think he is going to possibly have to play in the outfield because of our DH issue, which we'll talk about now.
Going off just names though, like I'm rooting for Zeb, whatever his name was.
Yeah, Zeb Rudolph.
Yeah, like that's who I'm rooting
Zeb
for.
Rudolph.
Name alone.
He's
Give
from
me
Baton
that guy in
Rouge.
right field.
He's a Baton Rouge kid, I think. Let's see.
Oh,
yeah, but you sounded not excited at all about that.
He is.
No, I put him on there. I put him in the top 3.
No, just
because he's kind of struggled. He's like a guy that we're gonna talk about next year. I'm not expecting him to really do much this year. He's from no. He's from Neville. He's from Neville High. So he's from Monroe.
Another Monroe cat.
True freshman from Neville. He's gonna be good next year. We have Cruz. Like it doesn't the outfield.
We can cruise control.
Cruise control. That's a good one. So DH. This is where
so Skeens is going to play like every day.
So now I'm confused.
It is pretty sick. It is pretty sick to say like, hey, this dude starting on Friday is also like hitting the rest of the week. Like that is big. It's kind of like some big balls thing.
And that's where I'm confused at because in these scrimmages, I think we've had 6 now. He's had 1 at bat. So I'm starting to think that Skeens is no longer a hitting option for this baseball team because of how much depth we have at DH and other positions. So I'm thinking he is just our Friday guy, which we'll talk about him on the mound soon. And he's not going to actually DH. It's going to be one of these other 4 names below.
I thought that's why he came here.
I thought so too, but apparently his ceiling on the mound is way higher than his ceiling at the plate.
So I'd like to retract my statement. It's actually like really stupid to have your Friday guy playing and potentially getting hurt in a Saturday game. That's dumb. We would never want that.
So he was 10-3 last year on the mound for Air Force as a starter with a 2.70 ERA, which that's pretty dang. I mean, that's better than any pitcher we had on our roster last year, including McHale here.
Yeah, but who are they playing? Navy?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like what? We're in war times here with fucking balloons flying over.
Let's see. And then he had 13 home runs last year. He batted .315. So, yes, while we would like to see him hit, and I think as the season goes on, he will get opportunities to hit depending on how everyone else shakes out. But we also haven't had a Friday guy throw in 99 in a long time. So I can see Jay Johnson.
Is he a Nola?
I think he's more of a Ronaldo, just an overpowering. Nola was just spotting up, throwing darts. This dude's going to get on the mound at 6'6" and be very intimidating.
6'6", 235. Just
that's huge.
And a veteran.
It's a unit.
Literal veteran.
Thank you
anyway,
sir.
I have him up there as a designated hitter for Saturday and Sunday, but the more and more I see these scrimmages, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think if those other guys can take hold of the outfield, I think Joe Bear is going to be your DH. And if Veloso continues to hit balls out of the stadium like he did this past weekend, then I think Joe Bear or Travinsky is a big guy, but he's been hurt his entire career at LSU. And then the other name, Jared Jones, who's literally leading the team in hitting as a true freshman.
Yeah, 6'4", 230. Where's Jared Jones from? Let's talk about him for a second.
Jared Jones,
since he's leading the scrimmages, right? In the scrimmages hitting,
he's from Marietta, Georgia. He was highly recruited, but you can go look at what's his name, the D1 baseball guy, all these different guys that talk.
David Jeremiah.
Exactly who I was thinking of. No.
Ken Jones.
Kendall
Rogers.
Kendall Rogers.
Dude, you're welcome. I got y'all there.
He put Jared Jones on his under the radar players that should have been drafted, but then no one talked about it. Like one of those weird lists of people. And he's proving himself right now. I mean, that's 6'4", 230. Like that's huge for a true freshman.
That might be your guy.
He can play. I think the problem is like there's
I don't think so.
all those guys on that list can hit. Unfortunately, they all play either first base or catcher, so you can only have one of those.
If you get slumpy, rotate. Change your pants.
No, I think that's what's going to happen. The DH position is going to be a revolving door, depending on what other positions the weakest link, and we're just going to move people around because we have that much depth.
All right,
give guys opportunities.
Let's get into the beef, dude. Let's get into the starting pitchers.
All right. So I think Skeens is obviously your Friday guy.
Jay already announced it. He already said it.
He literally said, if I didn't say Paul Skeens was my Friday guy, what did he say? I'd be the biggest idiot in the world, basically is what he said. So they went and got
Jay.
They went and got Skeens for one reason, it seems like. If he's not hitting, it's going to be because he's our Friday starter, which we haven't had a legit Friday starter in, 3-4 years since Lang? Since Alex Lang, I think.
Lost the national title.
Yeah. And then we went and got Thatcher Hurd.
I love Thatcher Hurd. 6'4", 200
from UCLA.
I think this is Saturday. I think this is Saturday.
He donates money and food to the food bank from his NIL deals. We talked about that. I think he's definitely your Saturday guy.
See, this is where people start pumping up LSU as a national champion contender and number one. I think it's this pitching staff. It's Friday and Saturday that we plucked from, obviously Skeens is like a top dog overall, but I think Hurd was one of those top dogs out of the West Coast. He's a Bruin pitching staff. We pulled him over to LSU. That was a big get.
Yeah. I mean, UCLA is no slouch in college baseball.
No.
Great program.
So the only thing is let's see. So he had 6 starts last year as a true freshman at UCLA, was 2-0 with a 1.0 ERA, 48 strikeouts in 34 innings. That's really good stuff. And then he got hurt.
That's filth.
Then he got hurt.
What? He was hurt?
Yeah, he didn't finish out the year. He didn't finish out the year, but in all the scrimmages this year, he's been pitching. Where's he at? He's topped out at 95 this year already.
Yeah. Saturday.
So I think, and he's got 11 strikeouts. So yeah. So I'm expecting big things out of him. He's Saturday, Sunday. He's a weekend rotation guy. And then Ty Floyd's been around the team for quite a while now.
You might have a little bit of a rotation of those last 3 on Sunday.
Exactly.
Right?
I think it could be any of those 3. Part of me thinks
Little
at
might
this
come
point. I made this.
He hasn't been doing great in the scrimmages.
Who's that?
Christian Little.
Yeah. Where's he at? Yeah, Little.
He's the Vanderbilt transfer, right?
Little's the Vanderbilt transfer. He was highly recruited, 96 mile an hour fastball. Him and Floyd. He actually has done a little better than Floyd, not by much.
You know who's destroying it and has been destroying it?
Shores?
Moffitt.
Oh, Moffitt. I had a picture of him. Brett, you would love this kid. Big, thick legs.
You had me at Moffitt.
Yeah, but it's spelled different. It's M-O-F-F.
Oh, shit. I thought this was like the last of the Moffitt boys to roll through.
No, not related.
I'll have to find a picture later. Moffitt throws 95, true freshman. We'll talk about him when we get to relievers.
My bad.
But Grant Taylor, other name on here. He's had a lot of had several. I think he was a midweek guy last year for us. So that's your 5. I think when the season's all said and done, those 5 guys will have the bulk of your weekend starts, especially the first 2. And then
as you're getting this pulled up, props to Grant. Everyone should go check out the YouTube video because Grant's got some picks. He's got everyone laid out. Like, kudos.
This is a good preseason preview. I like this.
I mean,
but you've gotten some action shots. You've cropped some people out. You found pictures of guys that made me hate them. Like, you've done an excellent job of making me like. I know that this team is going to Omaha.
Look at Brett.
Get me a ticket with yours.
I love
Get
it.
me a
I love
ticket
it.
with
We're
yours.
gonna. What's the timestamp? 59:45. That's
I
the
think
time.
we got him at Thatcher Herd. I think that's whenever we got him.
Thatcher,
He saw that
Thatcher kind of got
UCLA,
me
and he's like,
going.
okay.
So really,
Sissy blue shirt.
This is basically the rest of your staff right here. So
And
Bryce
we got
Collins.
Big Country as a closer.
Yep. Yeah, dude. And I think where's Moffitt on there? Oh yeah, Aiden
He's on the
Moffitt.
right. Yeah.
Where's he from? He's all the way in the right, Brett. That's Aiden Moffitt.
I like this guy.
Not related.
Thighs.
Definitely not related.
So he's 6'3", 240 is what the roster says. That's
Where'd you say he's from? Baton Rouge?
He's from Mount Olive, Mississippi.
Mississippi. That's right. Yeah, he throws some gas. He's been crushing it. They say like recently, no one can hit this kid. I feel like he's going to be one of the closers.
So he's topping 95, true freshman. And Jay Johnson made a point in his presser to say that Moffitt is the real deal, and he's got a bright future at the closer position.
Nice.
I don't really break down the closers at all in this because there's too many relievers to really name one. But if Jay Johnson's putting his name out there, I would like to think that Moffitt, as the season goes on, will have the potential to be a closer once SEC gets started.
And you still got Blake Monk.
Yeah.
Would you rather be like the Saturday or the Friday starter guy, or just be the closer? Like everyone's like, this is the closer. This dude's badass.
I'd love to be the closer.
I did both.
Oh, you were the guy. We know that.
No. I mean, I didn't. I'm just saying I did.
He just took a little break in like the 7th inning.
No, I literally did that.
Went and put on a different jersey.
I've literally started games and came back in to close, but
they let that fly in high school.
Well, as long as you stay in the lineup, technically you can do you can do that. But when you use a DH, there's different rules.
Gotcha.
But anyway,
let me ask this. Who do you think is the first off the bench? Who's first in relief for Saturday? Who's like your top bullpen during?
I think it's righty lefty situation. Who if it's a righty up to bat, then I think you might get Bryce Collins, who's a righty.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a lefty, I think Riley Cooper, who's the trusted. He came over with Jay Johnson from Arizona. So him and Bryce Collins both came over from Arizona. And I think
you'll have Moffitt closing it out.
I think Moffitt's the closer. So I think those will end up being our top 3 most trusted relief arms. And then Griffin Herring, I've heard great things about this guy. The fact that he's a lefty, where's he at? Herring is throwing 91, but we haven't had lefties. We had this pod 2 years ago, and we literally had 0 lefties on the roster before Maneri was canned or retired. So the fact that we actually have 1, 2, 3, there's 3 out of the first 5 guys are left-handed pitchers.
I mean, you couldn't have found a better picture of Riley Cooper either. I mean, that's sick. He's got the belt fold over. He's got the gut. Beard,
Cooper has
hair.
a rubber arm. Cooper has a rubber arm. He threw 40 innings last year. Still had a 4.2 ERA, but I mean, he was just thrown in at every game. I felt like
he better improve that shit.
Yeah.
So, and then we got big Blake Money, like I talked about. Big cowboy boot Blake Money.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where he fits in. We thought he was our Friday starter last year, which he did. He started the first 4 weekends of the season on Friday. And then he kind of fell to pieces. So he does have that.
He didn't have the calories, dude. He went from like 400 pounds to, what is he, 6'4", 6'7", 240. I mean, like he lost a ton of weight. He didn't have the stamina. He's not used to that. He had the reserves. He got rid of the reserves. So I feel like maybe an off season of strength and conditioning, maybe we see him as one of those dominant relief pitchers. He just needs more calories.
I mean, I agree. I think the fact that he went through that last year, he's got the experience. He's been on the program. This is his 3rd year. Who knows? Maybe he is a great reliever that we need to rely on, as we do get deep into Omaha, the SEC tournament, places like the regionals. But the names to really look out for on this list, heard really good things about Herring. We talked about him, and Nate Alkenhuizen I don't know how you really say his name.
I can
But he's probably German. But Jay Johnson did say his name a lot in the presser. The other biggest name on this list is probably Chase Shores. I mean, look at the size of that guy.
6'8", 250.
I mean,
we've got some giants on this team. Huh?
Chase Shores should not be on campus. He's one of the pitchers that should not be here. He's from Texas, Midland, Texas. 6'8", 250 though. Like that's, and he's topping out at 99 on Saturday or Sunday scrimmage. 99.
Yeah, you might see him in some action
as a freshman. So he's a future weekend starter. That's what
we're
I'm
sitting at $1.05. So let's move on from relief pitchers. If we have any
last name on this list too, towards the bottom, Javin Coleman, left-hander. He was our starter late in the season 2 years ago. Was hurt all of last year. He's been recouping. I think he's going to be a go, but not week one. He'll probably be a full go, probably a month into the season. But he was a hell of a starter, left-handed starter. A lot of junk balls.
So we finally have depth. We have depth.
I feel like there's just a lot of guys on this list. And here's the starting lineup.
I still want to know which one Grant would be, if he would be the Friday starter or the closer.
Both. He had that option.
I'd probably rather be the closer. It's less work.
Yeah, but you have to be ready all the time. You know how sick it would be to show up on Friday, throw 7 innings, and then you're just
that's
chilling.
why I'd rather be the Sunday guy. You asked Friday or closer.
Yeah, Sunday, but like Fridays, you're the dude. Sunday, it's like, oh fuck, we got to figure something out.
Yeah, but if I'm the Sunday guy, that means I can go out on Friday night and Thursday night.
Better not be going out during the season. You got 56 games to play.
No, dude, I'm going to get
for the rest of our lives.
I'm going to Reggie's.
Let's look at the lineup
if they have a license.
Not anymore.
All right, starting lineup. Everyone's going to disagree with this. This is just the way I could see it playing out. This is not our Friday lineup. I have no idea what Friday lineup.
This is Grant's Friday lineup.
Yeah,
this is your 1 through 4. We'll go there.
I don't like Trey Morgan at cleanup. I like him starting off. I like him at 1.
I know. And I did this because Jay Johnson loves right, left as far as he can get. So if we put them all out here, we have. Here's the thing about Cruz and White. They need the most at bat. I think what's going to happen is White's going to be your 4-hole, Cruz will be your 3-hole, but I don't know where that leaves 1 and 2 because that's left, right. Doesn't make sense.
Like, do you think Pearson is a dog enough to be up there at that first lefty?
He was last year.
Okay.
So that's why I kind of have him up
there. Team wasn't the best team in the history of college baseball last year.
I don't know. I think that's your starting people. The lineup, I think Kling could maybe move up there, move up higher the way he's been hitting. I think Thompson's going to stay between 6 and 8. Joe Bear is going to stay between 5 and 7 if he's hitting the way he is, or whoever the DH is. But I think Cruz and White are definitely at least one. Those White's not going to be your 1-hole. He did bat a lot in the 2-hole last year, actually. And it's mainly just to maximize your at bats. If you're batting 1 through 3, you're guaranteed to get a plate appearance in the first inning, and you're obviously gonna, just based off the math, you're gonna have the most at bats when it comes to the end of the season.
We are a big math pod.
Yep.
Looking at the starting lineup now, I'm out, and this team's not going to Omaha.
I know. But whoop. Got the
and there's your Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I think. The more these scrimmages go on, I think Christian Little might be your Sunday guy too. It's tough to figure out who the Sunday person's going to be. I don't think the coaches know.
Excellent presentation. Look at that.
And then I made this graphic.
There's more.
I made this graphic.
You didn't make that shit.
I made this graphic. There's a little bit of the schedule. I don't know if you want.
Yeah, Gavin Dugas trotting out there on all these images kind of irks me a little bit because he's not really anywhere in our depth chart.
Yeah. He's
Who's wrong?
He's second base.
He's
Dugas
first off the bench.
Dugas. He's been hurt. He had eye surgery.
I know he's a good kid.
He's a gamer. But I think that's probably.
I think the biggest series to look
there's,
at is definitely going to be Tennessee at home. Projected number 2 team right now, LSU number 1. Could be kind of crazy. 1 versus 2 midseason. Nice spring day at the Bach. Yeah.
I mean, you got
Hey,
six
look
of
at
the top
A&M up
10.
there. Is
Look at
A&M
them.
like
They were in
football?
Omaha. They
Whereas-
were in Omaha last year.
That's true.
No, they're
They were in
traditionally a
Omaha.
decent baseball program. They don't really like win it, but they're in there.
Yeah, they don't do anything.
Interesting. I think we have South Carolina as well. That's going to be a fun series. Obviously, we have everybody else on here, but should be fun, man. All right, let's keep talking a little bit.
That was
This is a pod.
That was it.
Nice.
And that's your 2023 national champion baseball program right
we
there.
do have one
Undefeated?
one more slide.
What is a good record, Grant? Like, what is your expectations? Like 20 losses or less?
Less than less than 20 losses.
Less than 18 losses.
That's
I think
that'd be a
less than-
big deal.
Yeah, we should not lose more than 20 games, or we should not lose 20 or more games.
We should be less than 20 going into the postseason.
Oh yes, easily. I'm trying to see what was.
Should be like a 14 range. 14, 17 going into post. Lose that's saying that you win every series and you lose like one game.
I'm about to let's
Pick
see.
the midweek game that LSU struggles or loses, and the rant explodes.
Let's see, LSU.
Just like basketball, we can't find a coach. He's going to be gone in a year. Hate this guy. Why did we think this guy knew baseball?
Probably one of those early games, like against Texas or Kansas State or Iowa, some shit like that early on.
Just like
Maybe.
when you lose to
You know what's
you've never heard of.
Fun fact about Paul Skeens is he pitched in Alex Box in 2021 and got the save against the Tigers. He beat us.
Really?
That is a fun
Yeah.
fact. So he's on familiar ground.
Yeah.
Paul Skeens. So Air Force beat us.
Yeah, 2 years ago on Saturday.
Because the Skeens.
All right, so let's see if I can do this. Hold on, let's see.
Kim Mulkey's making her rounds.
Look at the women's basketball program just taking over the internet.
Yeah, unfortunately, they got jumped by Indiana in the polls. Like, why would you not set up 1 versus 2 going into Sunday? Because we play South Carolina, who is number 1. I don't know. Doesn't make sense. But anyway,
they have an issue, right? Mulkey and that coach, don't they have a little battle?
Yeah, they've had a little spat. They had a little spat last year.
Little cat fight.
That's why I watch.
Okay, so to put it in perspective for wins and losses.
Yeah.
91, we won the championship. We had 18 total losses.
Oh, I went through this last night. That's
16,
why I asked.
17, exactly.
Less than 20.
90, let's see. Where's a year? 99, 2000, we had 17. Yep. More recent, 2019, 17.
Look at Ole Miss's record from this.
So we had
they lost like a ton of games.
Oh, they had a terrible record. They got hot when it mattered. I mean, look at this year. We had 12 losses, 16 losses, 11 losses, and we didn't do anything with those 3. That was the Bregman years, I think. 17, we lost 20 games, the last one being in the championship. So, we only lost 5 games in 2020. I mean, that was one of the best years we've had in terms of
an all-timer. Can we claim that national championship? Why don't we put that shit on the Intimidator?
I mean, look, we had 22 losses last year. So yeah, we should not lose more than 20. We should not lose more than 19. That's the number.
Look at that. We
Swamp
got boots
Donkey.
on the
Gavin
ground.
Guidry looked awesome. All right, here we go. Let's get Swamp Donkey to call in. Looked awesome. I'm telling you, like 14 straight strikeouts. I don't know. Swamp Donkey's saying otherwise.
One last slide is the walkout songs. I don't know if y'all have any words on this. I know Brett said he listened to it. I made a playlist. I played it while we were cooking dinner on Friday night, and my wife got upset about it.
I know they went numerical order, but like putting Mr. Carter #1 on the list was a terrible idea because as soon as I listened to that, I just deviated from the playlist and started listening to Wayne from 2008 to like 2012, just prime. It was incredible. Great afternoon.
I feel like a lot of this is just like, hey, look at me. This is what my uncle listened to, and I thought it was cool when I was like 4, and I'm going to be cool. Like, I don't think they actually listen to this, but like every now and then you'll get somebody that I like you said, Grant, Jordan Thompson's "Flower" by Moby. That seems very California. That seems like Jordan Thompson's like, yeah, I listen to Moby.
That's my uncle.
I don't think Gavin Guidry, the true freshman from Barb, is like crushing old school Lil Wayne.
Mr. Carver, yeah. And Javin Coleman's probably not, a little Boosie fan, except the fact that we play it in every football game.
No, I mean they want some jams. They want some people to get on their feet when they come to the plate. I mean, it's strategic. I get it. I mean, you don't want to have their real shit on here. I am surprised. No Jack Harlow.
Or NBA young boy, I feel like that's a hot name.
But they do have Fat Pat. Jared Jones.
Fat Pat. They have Offset.
Disco Lines, Johnny Cash, Waka Flocka, Rihanna.
Brett, you would like you and Bryce Collins would probably get along. There's a Halo theme song on there.
The trap music version. Yeah. We talked about this last year. We played it.
I think I think the cheapest one on here is probably Gavin Dugas's "Shoot to Thrill" by AC/DC. It's like, dude, you don't like
very
that.
Baseball. No, it's just a very baseball song.
Right. Like he doesn't really like that. He probably gets sick of that. He's probably like, God, I got to change this now. I'm tired of this.
I would change mine every week. Like I would just completely mix it up. Like actually no, let's do T-Pain this week.
Yeah, and like the little intern's probably like, God damn it, don't let Brett come by.
I'm not making a new graphic for this.
Do you know how much work this is? Oh yeah, Jason, I heard this new song. Come here.
Can you take YouTube, or does it have to be like on Spotify? Or
he like stops trusting you. It's just like, whatever, just submit it, and you like submit like the fucking worst song possible, just explicit version. He gets fired.
That would be something I would do 1,000%.
What's your take on Skeens having a George Strait song?
I mean, he's walking out. Are they going to play it for the first inning? Like, what? Does it play it every inning? He's just going to walk out.
No, it's just the first inning, I'm sure.
Yeah. Who cares? Pitchers don't get, like, unless you're a closer, relief guy, like starting pitchers, you don't get songs. Like you're the starter. Act like you've been there before.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like you don't get anything?
No, I mean, sure, but it's like, what are we gonna do? Play at the first inning, like when we're walking out? Good job.
Like every inning. Thunder. It's like this dude's in a
So
slump.
what's our closer's name? Moffitt? What's he rocking?
Justin Timberlake, "Rock Your Body."
That's fucking cheap.
That's can't do that for a closer. Like you better be super nasty if that's what we're gonna do.
But he is from Mississippi, so it's probably just like he's probably still listening to that.
I've heard him talk though. He's
don't.
He talks very well. He seems like
he's not
talk now.
He's not from Mississippi. That's why he said that. Mississippi.
Correct. He does not seem like he's from Mississippi.
Gotcha. Creedence Clearwater Revival, DJ Primo. DJ Primo cannot talk. He is not well spoken. DJ Primo.
DJ Primo is actually from Catholic High, Baton Rouge. Primo's freshman from. We didn't talk about him, but he's from Baton Rouge.
God's gonna cut you down, Blake Money, of course. Yeah, dude, good presentation. Thanks, Grant. Appreciate the work that you put in. Should be a fun season. I can't wait to kind of hit on some of these fun weekends, especially like Tennessee. I was planning on going to the Texas game. I'm probably going to be on a flight that day, so I won't be able to. But I think over the weekend in Round Rock, I might hit up that Iowa game.
You should.
That weekend before. Just kind of get a little glimpse on the tits. See if we
I'm
rip
gonna
any.
be. Oh, we'll be ripping.
That's a rip tits comment. First one of the year.
We'll be ripping tits. You don't.
I feel like the
question
team
that.
has been really shitty at hitting ever since Grant started bringing ripping tits into the vernacular.
I mean, last year we were pretty good.
I don't think so, man. We weren't clutch.
This is what I'm fucking talking about. Like
2020,
I get that. No, I'm with you.
2020, the season got canceled, so that was when we first.
We have not been good, dude. We fired our coach.
Well, he stepped down to take further, do things in the community.
When does his dirt come out? When does Maneri's dirt come out?
He's gonna. Yeah, it's gonna be like less. It's gonna be like years later, and it's just gonna we'll just never mind.
Crushing some hottie at his Notre Dame years. It's like, bring it up, bring it up, bring it up.
I don't know. Yeah, just the thought of that is pretty funny.
I love it.
But then the thought of Les Miles being a dirtbag is hilarious too.
Yeah, like poor girl. Suffered in
very. Yeah.
It came out that it was not true. That's probably why it didn't make sense.
Who's winning the Super Bowl?
Chiefs.
No.
Oh.
You like Philly?
Yeah. Philly.
All right. Well, I'll bet on Pat Mahomes if I have the opportunity to bet on Pat Mahomes and feel okay if he loses it for me.
Yeah, I think this is the Mahomes year where we kind of look back and be like, damn, we thought Burrow was about to take over the East, but Casey's been fucking dominant.
A reminder, hey, I'm here. We've been here for 5 years in a row or whatever. I guess that was the AFC Championship game, but it's I am the guy. I'm the king that you have to knock off. I agree. It feels very Mahomesy, and Kelsey's going to win MVP.
Yeah.
If heads up, it's probably worth betting first, thanking God first if Pat Mahomes is going to win the MVP. He fought to make sure he thanked God.
Is that a bet?
The AFC Championship
Can you make
game.
that
bet? You can always bet who they thank first. There's God, there's the family, myself. There's all kinds of, but God's obviously normally first.
Yeah, good for Pat.
Kelsey ran over and was talking shit about Burrow, and he's like, hold on, I just got to thank God, and it's write that one down. That's a tickler file. Put it in the back pocket for later type of bet.
It's devoted man. It's a devoted man.
The illusion of it for sure.
I don't think he's like his brother. I don't think he's like Jackson. Jackson's an illusion. That dude sucks.
They all suck. Everyone sucks.
His wife sucks.
Dude, but did you see his dad after the game just hammered?
No, but he's a former athlete, so I would expect.
Oh yeah, I don't care, whatever. But you got to find this clip because he is hammered, which good on you. But just imagining him having a conversation with his son, that's not the star fucking quarterback of the world and dances on TikToks was hilarious thinking about it. He's like, you do what? Just go watch the clip of Mahomes' dad and then just think about Jackson Mahomes, and it's fucking hilarious.
He's a big dude too. Jackson probably could have been a good athlete if he wasn't, born in the wrong decade,
Exactly.
Non-binary, can't play sports.
Couldn't find a locker room.
So yeah, good pod, guys. I guess we'll be back.
We'll be back next week, I guess. Yeah.
I guess.
Is that it, Grant?
Yeah.
All right, over and out.
Over and out. Thanks.